Thanks for joining us. This is Weekend Winners. The name of the game is to find some winners for Albion Park each and every Saturday night, and we go back to the creek on Saturday night for a 10-race program. Action starts at 5:50 and it's pink ribbon race night. We've got this big celebration across the 3 codes of racing, all going to a very good cause. So if you're in the area on Saturday night, head along and get a part of the action. It's going to be a great night. The Pink Ribbon Cup, it's race number 5. In this edition of Weekend Winners, we're going to speak with Maddie Elkins and Hayden Barnes. Busy night coming up for Matt Elkins, 10-race program, 7 drives for Matt, and he's in the hot seat right now. Matt, appreciate the time.
No worries, Chris. Pleasure as always.
Just Joshin, race 1. This is your first drive. You sat behind this guy for the first time last week. What sort of feel did he give you?
You know, he felt all right. We had a pretty good trip there and wasn't far from the money. He's sort of a horse that races well consistently, but just got to give him a good trip in running, I think. Okay, so gate 4. It looks a little sticky. You've got pace to your inside and to your outside. How does this play out early? Yeah, not real sure, to be honest. Obviously, sort of only driven him the once from barrier 1. He got out quite good, but in saying that, I don't think he's a horse in that grade you can probably overdo early, so we'll probably be looking for the best spot we can with minimal work possible. Okay, you've got some in-form runners to your inside, like Mystery Road and Mufasa, and you've got these mares that are low-flying to your outside, Auntie Bella and Jen and Strike. It does look fairly even, this race. Yeah, no, it is, and probably Auntie Bella and Jen and Strike are probably the best informed horses in the race, but they come up with sticky gates, so they're going to have to probably work forward and do some work early, so that probably brings us into the race. Okay, so with a little bit of luck, he can play a role in the finish? Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's never far away in any race he contests at the moment. Yeah, absolutely. That's Just Josh in race 1, number 4. Let's go across to race 2. You know this mare well, and she is low-flying. Molly's Marielle. She'll run from gate 3. What are your thoughts here? Yeah, no, she's been very good and consistent lately. Can't sort of knock any of her form. She's sort of been racing well when used off the gate too, so probably in at gate 3 there might be an opportunity to sort of get out of the gate as best we can and see where we can end up. First thought, do you think Mongolian Conqueror, who's got the inside gate, does he look the leader? I think he does. He probably has the speed to lead. But in saying that, we might sort of chance their arm early with a good horse drawn in 8 there. They may look to take a trail, so we'll sort of come out pretty hard and see if we can force our hand early. That's the good thing about Molly's Marielle. She's versatile. You can drive her a few different ways. Yeah, that's it. And she's sort of got stronger and faster recently, so no, can't sort of knock her lately. Yeah, and like this first race, this one looks fairly open as well. As you said, the High Commander, he's in form, but it's a tricky draw for him, so it brings a few others right into this race. Yeah, that's for sure. He's probably the best horse in the race and got the best form, but you know, if he's there on the fence and someone can get across the one early and put him 3 fence, that sort of opens the race right up, I think. Okay, but you're confident that she can run another top 3 finish here? Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, that's race 2. Let's move across to race 3. Ahoka Jimmy, you know this guy really well, and he's in good form. I think you'd agree with that. He's turning up week in, week out, and performing at a high level. Yeah, for sure. I think he's actually probably stepped it up a notch or 2 in the last month. So his last 3 or 4 runs, he's been probably better than ever and super. Been making ground late and on the corner, which he never normally did, and still finding the line really strong. So, no, he's been awesome lately. Okay, just looking at that replay, very similar field to last week. However, we come back from 2,138 metres, we're at a mile. Is that more to your advantage or not? I think he probably nearly is better at the 21, but, you know, 2 starts ago, he ran a really good mile there behind an informed horse, and they went quick time there. So, nah, it doesn't really matter. I think as long as the tempo is genuine enough, it sort of suits him. Okay, looking at that front line, does it look like it's going to generate early speed? I think there will be. Jumping Jack Jimmy, Admiral Bronsky, and then a couple out wider again may look to drive forward there. So, you know, if we can sort of do no work early and lob 1-1, 1-2, that's sort of our best bet there. Aphorism won that race last week. He's drawn out in gate 7. Is he still the horse to beat? Yeah, for sure. He's a high-performing horse. It's probably a big drop back in grade for him there again this week. He was pretty good there last week. But no, he's definitely the best horse in the race, but just drawn out in 7 over the mile can make it hard. This veterans grade, it's quite competitive, isn't it? There's no standout horse at that level, and with a little bit of luck, they can all feature. Yeah, no, they are a pretty even bunch, and you know, you sort of get horses like Aphorism that go up and have a few runs in the free-for-all and lose a few ratings and slip back into it, and they're always probably the hardest to beat. Okay. Race number 4, this is the Open this week, and you're driving Feeling for a Rainbow. He was in that monster mile last week chasing Black Sedans. He finished 4th. Still in many ways, it was almost a PB performance from Feeling for a Rainbow. Yeah, no, he was very good there. sort of if there's been anything against him, it's probably been when he's raced them good horses in fast miles. So sort of took a lot out of that, I think. I think he's gone to another level recently, and he's sort of run 2 starts back when he was probably last at the 400 and made good ground to run 3rd. Sort of shows that he's stepped up recently, I think, and sort of not just been good at that level against 2100, but he's sort of come up to the mile as well now, I think.
Just looking at this field this weekend, we're missing a few of the obvious free-for-allers, so this looks a really good race for him, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I think sort of Northview Hustler is probably going to be the hardest to beat. His run was awesome there again last week. 21 probably does suit him as well, but you know, we're drawn well and racing well, so if we can get a handy spot early and sort of a horse like Northview Hustler has to do a bit of work somewhere, you know, he's going to be right in the finish again. Okay, last week a mile we're at 2,138 metres. Does that suit feeling for a rainbow? I think it does at this stage, you know, but they do sort of have to roll along pretty even. If they're rolling along pretty even at 2,100, it does sort of suit him, I think. Okay, does he get the respect he deserves feeling for a rainbow in your opinion? No, definitely not. You know, he's sort of come a long way, and I think he's sort of not far away from winning one of these free-for-all races on a Saturday, but he probably just needs that barrier draw over 21, I think, and a genuine tempo, and he's not going to be very far. He just probably lacks that real quick quarter in him, so he's got to let them take it out of the rest of them for him. Okay, well, he's hoping he can strike there on Saturday night. Race number 5, Scotch and Ice for the legend Vic Frost. I've got to ask the question straight up. Were you surprised, or was that the intention to lead last week with this guy? No, it's funny actually. Gal said go straight back at the start, and I sort of said, oh, I might float out. I reckon there'll be a hole somewhere in this field, and I sort of left pretty well, and then I just changed my mind pretty quickly and went pretty hard for the top. Were you surprised that you got the top last week in that race? Not really. You know, he's a high-performing horse, I think, and I rate him pretty highly. And he's always had good gate speed, and probably draws 3-4 a lot of the time, and we've never really asked him from out wide, and I actually thought he may be getting quicker from out wide and get the angle across, and he certainly showed that on Saturday. Yeah, he was really good in defeat there. They went fast time. It was 2,138 metres, and it was just in the shadows of the post that they got him, so you couldn't have asked for any more. No, he was massive. You know, I do have a high opinion of the horse, and I think he's a great leader, so you know, it doesn't shock me when he races well. I mean, a few starts ago he ran second to Big Wheels when he led up early in that race too, so no, he is a good horse. You've got So Am I drawn in gate 1. Can you head him this week? I think it's drawn 1 a couple of times and probably taken a trail, so we'll be coming out hard and be looking to lead all the way there. Okay, so you've got good confidence there with Scotch and Ice. Yeah, I think sort of dropping back to the mile this week, you know, 54 in front last week for 21, we can probably look to lead and sort of roll along at a good clip, I think, and he'll be hard to beat. All right, well, that's Scotch and Ice. You think of Scotch and Ice, you think of Dr. Feelgood. That's your next drive on Saturday night. Race 7, number 1. Is he just crying out for this draw? Yeah, he's sort of funny little horse. He can be travelling really good and not probably let down as he feels sometimes in running, and probably showed here at Redcliffe a while ago when he drew 1 and was able to lead. He reeled off some good sectionals out in front and won quite convincing. So, you know, if he can hold up from barrier 1, I think he'll run to his potential and be hard to beat as well. You do have pace to your outside, so plan A is to lead. Yeah, definitely. I think maybe when Troubadour's in gate 3, he begins quite well, but my guy does have pretty good gate speed, and we'll be getting out as best as we can anyway. So you're confident if he leads, he's going to run a really good race? Yeah, I think if he leads, he can win too. Okay, well, that's good confidence there with Dr. Feelgood. And your final drive comes up in race 9, one last roll. Is he a chance of finding the front here on the weekend? Oh, I don't think so. He's got There's a Chance under him there. It's pretty quick out too, and I think it probably looks the leader. We may have to tuck in there, I'd say. Is he capable of coming off speed to win? I'd never say never, but I think he's a better leader. In saying that, we're probably not going to be too far away, and they should be rolling along, so I'd say that will suit him. Okay. There's a chance, as you said, drawn barrier 1. He's a last winner when he led, and he does like to run along. So, as you outlined, it is going to generate good pressure this race. Yeah, and he's probably a horse that I think why he races better in front, because he is rolling along at his own clip. So it's a race that we'll probably get that with There's a Chance leading anyway. Okay. Busy night for you on Saturday night. Which ones are you most confident about? I think Scotch and Ice. Okay, Scotch and Ice, that's race 5, number 2 for Vic Frost and Gail Geeson. Maddie, as always, really appreciate the time. We'll see you trackside. Thanks, Chris. Hayden Barnes is now joining us to go through his book of drives for Saturday night. Hayden, appreciate the time.
Yep, thank you, Chris.
We start with race 4, which is the free-for-all this week. Northview Hustler, he's on the backup following that performance last week where he was second in track record time, 49.2 set by Black Sedans. What are the expectations this week?
Back to his suited trip, the 2100 metres, and he was super last week. So I expect him to race really well again.
What was the initial thoughts on Gate 7? What was the, or what is the thinking process? Do you want to blast at the start or do you wait?
I don't think he gets out as good as he probably used to these days, a bit older, and so I reckon Tommy Lincoln will probably want to lead, so I don't think there's too much for us to really want to fire out and have a good shot, because I don't think we'll get anywhere. So we'll probably just slide across and see what happens from there.
He doesn't have to lead to win, does he?
No, he doesn't. He's been flying from behind recently, so...
Just looking at that replay, closing stages last week, he took a bit of ground off Black Sedans and, you know, the time was there. First horse ever to go sub 50, so the performance was just excellent.
It was. Sort of, after the race there, I thought, well, I would have loved to be sitting on his back and see if we could have run past him.
What about the quick backup? A week between runs and coming off such fast time. Any concern there?
I don't think so. We pretty much just buried him last week, and I probably sprinted 300 metres. I know the time was strong the whole way, but he only really got out 300, and I didn't push him that much because I knew I could only get second.
Okay, makes sense there. Well, that's Northview Hustler, race 4, number 7. Let's go across to race 7. I give this horse a chance. I think he's going a lot better than what the numerical form reads. Jiggamaroo for Steve Fury. He comes up with a good draw here, gate 2. How do you rate this guy?
Yeah, I've been really happy with him lately. He's sort of always gets a tricky draw or it just doesn't work out. He never has any luck, but as you said, he's going a lot better than what his form reads.
Is this a good draw on Saturday night, gate 2?
Hopefully. I'll tell you after the race if it's a good draw or not, but we don't really know what sort of gate speed he has, so we're sort of, after last week I said to Steve, I said, well, if we get a draw, it'd be nice to try and make the use of one.
Okay, but you've got speed to your inside in Dr. Feelgood. You've got pace to your outside in Maywin Troubadour, so you're sort of sandwiched right in the middle there. So the plan is to run the gate and just have a bit of an early look?
Yeah, we'll run the gate early and see where we end up, but hopefully we can get a nice trip and get some luck for once.
Do you think he's good enough to beat this type of opposition?
I think so. I think he's had pretty much the fastest closing splits on every race he's been in lately, so like, he's absolutely flying, just never gets any luck.
Yeah, he is going really well. So that looks suitable for him there on Saturday night. Race 7, number 2, Jiggamaroo. In the next race, race 8 for the mares, you've been driving Lucky Nutter. Is she going better than her numbers read?
Yes, she is. She's going a lot better than her form reads and didn't really get a lot of luck the last 2 weeks when I've driven her, but sort of tricky draw again on Saturday night. She doesn't seem to have a lot of gate speed, but if she gets a nice trip, she won't be far away. Yeah,
but it's a tricky draw, though. Like you said, gate 4, you've got speed to your inside and to your outside, and it's a mile, so it could get nasty.
Yeah, that's it. And she's a pretty funny horse to drive, so...
Okay, in what way?
She gets a bit touchy and doesn't like you grabbing her up. But she's still going really good, and yeah, hopefully she can get a good trip.
Yeah, there's no standout in that field in saying that. They look fairly even there.
They do, and pretty much the same horses every week. You just have one horse go up and one horse come in, so...
That's one way of looking at it. The last race, race 10, this is the trot. You've got this guy flying, your old favourite G-Up Netty. He's been placed 3 of his last 4. He's won 2 of those last 4 starts, and he was excellent last week.
He was. He's been going good recently, and give him a freshen up after the DJA heats where he made a meal of them, and he's come back super, and he was ready for retirement, I thought, and his last 4 have been awesome, so no retirement yet.
Okay, just looking back at this replay from last week, were you surprised when you went up and challenged Pete with King of the North? Did you think you'd find the lead there?
Sort of. I went up, I was just happy to sit outside of him, then I seen him have a look around and didn't really quicken, so I thought I'd have a look for the lead.
Okay. Now, that was a mobile start last week. He's back behind the tapes, 20 metres, 2,138 metres the journey. How does that shape up for you?
Yeah, he normally has very good stand-start manners, so the stands are probably better than the mobiles for him, so 20 metres doesn't really bother him either, so hopefully he steps away nicely, and I guess we'll just have to see where we end up because there's a fair few off the front this week.
With a clean getaway, do do you get aggressive again, sort of similar to last week, where you roll forward and try and look for the lead and just keep, you know, a nice, genuine tempo going? I
think it sort of depends on what's there, because like I'm the commando, normally holds over 21 but doesn't over the 26. So sort of if I could get around him and sit outside of him and then see what happens after that, that would be ideal.
Okay. Well, that's Saturday night. Out of those drives that we've just gone through, which one are you most looking forward to?
Oh, I can't really split them, to be honest, Chris.
You've got to give me one.
I'll go Northview Hustler.
Okay, race 4, number 7. He gets the big circle around his name. Northview Hustler. Hayden, as always, really appreciate the time. We'll see you trackside.
Yep, thank you.
As always, a big thumbs up to both Maddie and Hayden giving up their time and insights ahead of Saturday night's program, and we wish both boys the very best of luck. Time now for a good thing for this meeting on Saturday night. I think we've got to be a little patient towards the back end of the program. In fact, it's the last leg of the quaddie, so we might be able to go skinny here. I'm really keen on race 8, number 1, Carla Jane. Last week she was excellent off a poor draw. Sectionally, she probably couldn't have done any more on Saturday night. She lands that inside gate, and that gives her every opportunity for mine. I'm marking her as the best bet. Race 8, number 1, Carla Jane. If you are gambling this weekend, please do so responsibly, and we'll see you trackside. 10 races starting at $5.50.